Hello and welcome back to Yeti Kitchen. Today we're making a not-so-Chinese dish, beef and broccoli. The ingredients not listed here are chicken stock and cooking wine. I use Shaoxing wine, but you can use sherry or sake as a replacement. You can also use substitutions for things like mushrooms or oyster sauce, in which I use Worcestershire sauce instead. Now I'm going to teach you how to velvet beef. This is a trick many Chinese restaurants use to create a more tender beef in their stir-fries. You want to add about 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to your beef. You want to mix it well and make sure all the pieces of beef had a little bit of baking soda love. Now you're going to set that aside for 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, you're going to get something like this. It looks a little more vividly red. Next, you're going to want to rinse it off and pat it dry, and it'll be ready to use for any beef dish. And now we're going to marinate it. We're going to add 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of oil, I'm using sesame, some salt, some pepper, and a bit of white pepper too. Now give that a good mix. Hold on, I totally forgot to add some soy sauce. A very essential part of the marination. You'll probably want to add more than me, but once you're done mixing it up, just set it to the side for 30 minutes and let's prep our other ingredients. Starting with the ginger. We'll cut it into thin strips and then dice it. It may look like I have a lot here, but I love ginger, so I want a lot of ginger in my beef and broccoli. And the same goes for the garlic. I love garlic, so I want a lot of it. And we just want to create a nice fine dice. And by the time you're done, you'll get something like this. This is about the ratio of ginger and garlic I like in my stir fries. People are different, it's totally up to you what you want. Next, let's slice the mushrooms. You can slice it like this, which is totally fine. I prefer to actually quarter mine, so that's how I'm going to do my mushrooms for this dish. Next up is the broccoli. You just want to slice it into bite-sized pieces, and make sure you're using that stem. A lot of people throw the stem out, but it's actually delicious and healthy. By the time you're done, you'll get a ratio kind of like this. And then it's off to blanching or steaming. Either way works, it's up to you which method you want to use. Regardless of what method you end up using, this process is very quick, 1 to 2 minutes at most. As soon as the broccoli turns a very vivid green, it's ready to go. Steaming or blanching the mushrooms is optional. I chose to do it to just have a quick cooking method. Now pull it off the heat and set it to the side. Next, we're going to make our sauce. We'll start with 1/4 cup of chicken stock. Then we'll add in 1/2 tablespoon of salt. 2½ tablespoons of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of dark soy. 1 teaspoon of oil. Again, I used sesame oil. Then it would be our oyster sauce, or in this case, we replaced it with Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of white pepper, and give it a good mix. And now that our sauce is ready, we can set that to the side and cook our beef. Now we want our pan or wok to be ripping hot. When we add the oil, it should be smoking like this. Now let's add our beef. We don't want to move it around too much. We want to create a good char on one side of the beef. However, you don't want your beef to be clumped up into one ball. This will cause it to steam instead of sear. Let it sit for about 20 to 30 seconds to develop that nice charred taste and look. Once that's done, mix it up and let it cook for just another minute. We don't want this fully cooked, we do want it to be a bit pink in the middle. And once we have something that kind of looks like this, we can take it off the heat and set it to the side. Next, bring the heat down to medium. Re-oil the pan and add your ginger and garlic. We just want to cook it enough so it starts getting aromatic. Next, we're going to deglaze with some Shaoxing wine, or if you're using sake or sherry, you'll be using that at this point. Give it a good mix, and you want to make sure you're scraping the bottom to get all that nice deglazed flavor off. Next, we're going to add our sauce. And a mixture of cornstarch and cold water to thicken up the sauce. Now you really want to be attentive here because it'll start to thicken up fast. I recommend continually wiping down the sides of the wok or pot like this to get any leftover concentrated flavors. Now we add our beef and our veggies. Now give it a good toss. We're essentially just reheating the meat and the veggies that we put to the side. This smells so good. Look at that delicious beef and broccoli. And here you have it. Beef and broccoli. Easy and simple. Thanks again for joining me today on Yeti Kitchen. I recommend pairing this dish with a nice jasmine rice, which is my favorite. I paired it with brown rice here because that's all I had in my cupboard. I do have some more recipes that I have filmed but have yet to edit, so you can expect a couple more videos in the next week or so. You can always catch me on Twitch, where I live stream recipes or play games, or even have watch parties. Thank you so much for your viewership and your support. It really does mean the world to me. I hope to continue cooking delicious and interesting recipes for you here. I hope you're having a great day or evening or twilight, and I'll catch you next time on Yeti Kitchen.